gonna bring a D6 in the barn. Okay.
Here's a notable cut from their.
What I've got is a miss, and I messed with the injector, and then I found out you can buy these injector. Well, it's leaking there too. That's probably part of the problem. You can buy these injectors nozzles cheap. I got a whole set for less than $200. So I'm gonna pull out number 4. I ran it through the ultrasonic cleaner I got, and it seemed to help. But anyway, I'll set you up here and show you how I pull the injectors on this thing. So what we do is take the injector lines off. Like I say, I'm going to start with number 4 because that's the one I messed with. That's the one I suspect is causing the trouble. She's a little warm right now. I just ran it for a little bit. I think that's a 1-inch socket. And you torque these to 100 foot-pounds. Don't over torque them, because from what I understand, they will break the injector pre-cup or the nozzle seal down in there in the pre-cup. And if that happens, I believe you got a big problem, because I don't know that you can pull the pre-cup without special equipment. Like I say, I'm not a cat man. I'm learning. So what I use to pull it is I've got a piece of 3/4 all thread, welded a 9/16 fine thread nut to a 3/4 inch all thread nut, or a 3/4 inch standard nut. Anyway, what you do, that 9/16 thread fits right on top of the injector thread, and it's a good fit. So that one had already been out, so of course that was easy. So we're gonna put this one on the test bench, and we'll see what we got over here. Put a rag in there for that. Put a cap over the rag over the injector line. So, pretty easy deal. It's hot. Wouch. Lay that down kind of quick. Okay, this is my Vevor injector tester. And I've just got some diesel clean stuff in here for using for testing. But I want to see if it's still holding or if it's, I may have a different problem than what I'm finding with this, I don't know. I think this will seal good enough to do a test here. Okay, so we're gonna test it without the, that's without the pressure gauge. See, it's just a fine spray. It should be a little more than that, I believe. Now I'm gonna open the gauge and see it's dripping. So but you can see it's cracking about 900, 800 pounds, which is about right, but it's not holding pressure. So even with the cleaning I did, it didn't work. So what I'm gonna do, yeah, it's holding a little bit of pressure. So this is a replaceable part here. And I got a brand new set of 6. I hope it's worth it. The 6 come with gaskets, which is kind of nice. So I'm gonna run a little bit of, just kind of flush that out a little bit. Make sure it's clean. Now these don't really have a seal. The way Jeff explained it, this holds it tight. So he told me what he does is he spins them on kind of like that. We'll see if that holds. It's leaking. So to do the test, I'm gonna have to tighten it just a little bit more. That sounds way better. You hear that squeal? Look at the spray. Something I just found interesting here is this is the #1 injector, and it's working nearly perfect. I mean, it's not leaking off, it's got a good squeal, breaking right at 800 psi. So that's when I say breaking pressure, that's where it starts squealing. So it's right at about 800 psi. This is a good nozzle, and I'm going to mark it as such. There's no reason to not use this one again in something else, or I may put it in a road grader or something. I don't know. I don't know that it runs exactly right, but it doesn't knock like this one. So that's #1. So this is my ultrasonic cleaner, and what I do is I put my parts in a jar, and then I've got injector cleaner in there. This is just some water that's, oh, I don't know, it's a little dirty, but my parts are all inside of here. Ultrasonic should work through the glass, and we're not warmed up yet, so we'll probably run 2 or 3 cycles on it, which is 30 minutes a piece, and see what happens. So I want to talk about my little Vevor Hello, Roxy. Come here, doggy. Roxy and Blue. They don't get along. Roxy don't get along with anybody. Blue tries to get along, but the biggest fights they have is usually over food or if Blue's invading her space. She's got issues. Anyway, I want to talk about this Vivor injector tester. I like it a lot. It seems pretty good. I mean, it's got a nice, good handle on the. This turns your gauge on and off, actually. So what it is, when you do an injector, when you test them, you want to run through and pop it without the gauge getting popped. So you turn the gauge off, and then when you want to check your pressure, you open gauge up. But here's the issue I've got. I have taken pretty good care of this since I bought it. I pulled it out of the box. I keep it in the box it came in. And this is what the plastic bowl looks like. And I don't know why that did that. I didn't drop it that I know of, but now it leaks. So Vivor did pretty good on everything, I think, except for that. And I don't know what you do about that. I guess I'll see if they can send me another one. I bought this. I've done some things on YouTube for them, and they've given me something to do a test on it and do a video on it, and they've been good to work with, and that's why I went ahead and bought this one. The gauge seems to be good quality. The fittings work pretty well. They came with two. One is for the 9/16 thread injectors, and this one does. The smaller one's probably like a 12 valve Cummins, I think, has that size. That might be a, I don't know if that's a 3/8, but anyway, you can put that on there. These came straight. I did a bend in them because I don't like them shooting straight out to the side. So anyway, that's my gripe with this thing. It's just, it's nice. I mean, the first few times I used it, I just put it in the vise, but this time I bolted it to the table. It will only be on the table while I use it, and it'll get put back in its box. The box has foam, keeps it clean, keeps it neat. But anyway, I did a test on all 6 injectors, and number 4 is the only bad one I found. All of these had a pretty good spray pattern, and they didn't leak as bad. So I've got 5 decent injectors here that could probably be cleaned up and used. I don't know if I want to ultrasonically clean them or just maybe just brush the carbon off of them. There's a little bit of trash in the screen inside, but anyway, I just wanted to show you that. What do you think, Blue? So I don't know if this is J. Paydirt approved, but I got to thinking, I've got some of these old military gun cleaning kits, and I figured you can actually reach the bottom of that with your finger. You can see there's quite a little bit of, most of the stuff's just kind of rust from up above where the injector sits. So using the vacuum cleaner to kind of suck the stuff out of there before I clean them, and then take a rag and go down in here with the screwdriver, try not to score up any parts, and just spin it around. Gets a lot of it out of there. They clean up pretty good. But what happens is the seals on top of these things leak, and then they get water down in there and they rust. So you can see, not sure if the camera really shows it very well, but you can see the inside of the pre-combustion chamber or pre-cup. And this is one, that one's fairly clean. It's not been rusted like these back ones. These front ones came out super easy, or these front two. These two pulled right out easy. But anyway, just cleaning up. Hopefully my parts are going to be ready to pull out of the, I've already ran one cycle, one 30-minute cycle. I'll probably run them one or two more. Anyway, somebody will probably tell me this is going to run this engine because I'm getting dirt down in it. I might. It may be runt forever. Cleaning up pretty good. A little bit of dirt fell down in there, but not a lot. But when you pull those out, you can't help, there's no way to keep the rust from not falling down in there because, well, gravity. I guess unless you turned it upside down or stood it on its end when you pulled them out, you might be able to keep stuff from falling in there, but you're not going to keep it all from getting in there. Anyway, not really seeing anything abnormal, but my friend Jeff has a cutaway of one of these, and he sent me a little video, and I might ask him if it's okay to share it with this video so you can kind of understand what these are and how they work.
So once you get that nut undone, there should be a rubber seal right here, and then this is going to pull out, and whoop, you just unscrew it. You're probably not going to be able to test it because it's going to leak like a sieve right here, and they make a special holder. When this goes in against the seat and you tighten it up, it pushes that down on there and seals around this. There's nothing you can do with them. You could try to test it if you can get it to seal. What I do when I put them together is I take them, if I can do this, let me hold the phone with my knees. I put them like this and then give them a good snap, and then they're tight. And then when you put it back together, there's a spec on these. I don't know what the D6 is, but all of my stuff, the torque on these is 100 foot-pounds. And if you put too much, you can crush this body, and you can crush the body right there and split it. So the torque is kind of important.
I'm excited to get more done on this dozer. I've kind of been working on my TDA a little bit. I had a hose blowout on it the other day, and so I decided I might as well pull the belly pans. And then I pulled the belly pans, and I'm like, oh boy, I might as well wash it. So I spent a day washing it up, cleaning it up. Found a broken bushing on one of the blade pivots. It was one that had been welded before, and it's in a really bad spot, and I don't know if the weld I put on it's going to hold, but I didn't want to pull the blade frame off, so I just kind of did a little weld hack on it. Not my prettiest work, but anyway, waiting for parts to clean. Okay, so here's my jar of parts that I just cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner. You can see the liquids in is a lot dirtier, so we'll get these out of here and They're hot too. This thing gets up to 80 degrees Celsius, which is hot enough to burn your hands. Try not to break my jar. Probably about all I can get out of that. So, ultrasonic cleaned. I ran it, what was it, an hour and a half. Man, them are hot. There's still a little junk on them, but they're a lot cleaner than they was. Probably clean enough for a caterpillar, I'd guess. I don't know. They could be a little cleaner. So I don't know whether to run them one more time. There's a little bit of stuff coming off of them, not much. They're hot. We'll be ready to put some injectors together. I wanted to show you something. I went to messing with my Vevor injector tester, and it shelled out. I mean, I took this bolt out. This bolt was the only thing holding it together. Took the bolt out, and this thing just crumbled to pieces. I mean, this is junk. That's not a good plastic to put in an injector tester. The rest of the unit's fine, so I guess I'm going to get a hold of Vevor, see if they can send me a new one. I know they're going to tell me I dropped it, but I did not drop it. If I did, it was inside the box it was shipped in. Shouldn't have hurt it, but the way the plastic looks, it's just not, it's not a good material. It's just cheap junk. I don't know why I buy stuff from China. I kick myself every time I buy a tool from China. That wasn't from being dropped. That's just junk. So, why do I buy junk from China? It's cheap. Stupid. Alright, so I use my wire wheel to clean these up. They're quite a bit better. Using this brush just to clean the inside of them out. And I think I'm going to run them one more time in the ultrasonic cleaner. That looks a lot better than they did. Got one more here. But some of them had quite a bit of rust on the inside. So get them all cleaned up. Everything will fit nice. It'll torque down good. It's just a better deal all around. But anyway, we'll run them another go round. So that's what they look like before they start. We'll see how dirty it gets this time. Okay, so that's the second time through after wire brushing. You can see the fluid is dirty. Now whether or not that means they're cleaner, I don't know. I think they're clean enough. We're going to put them in. Okay, so I got my parts all cleaned up again. They're cooling off. They were hot. That ultrasonic cleaner, I think, does a pretty good job. The wire brush on here, actually I had to use it to get some of the rust out of them, but got them cleaned up pretty good. So now it's just a matter of now this is how Jeff told me to do it. You take your nozzle and you spin them on. Like that. He does it better. But anyway, this ring actually, or this nut actually compresses that down against the pre-cup. So, wait, wrong way. Can't put them on that end. Thank goodness Cat made that foolproof. Whoa! Got a little carried away there. So those don't have to be that tight. They just got to stay on. Anyway, about ready to put them in the dozer. So I have all the injector holes clean. I'm going to go ahead and drop in the one that I already had the stuff on. So almost any bolt on a dozer, or for that matter, tractor or anything else, in my opinion, ought to have NICs on it. Because they're always rusty. They sit outside, they get hot, they get cold, they get water down in here. Even though they may have a hood on them, they're still going to get well, you know, weather's going to get them. So we'll do it like that and get that covered good. Drop in number 5. But if these get stuck, I don't know how you get them out unless you get heat on them or a torch. Or Jeff said you can weld on them and get them out, but these all came out fairly easy, so we're lucky. Sometimes we get lucky. So you definitely want to torque these. You don't want to guess at it because you can break these nozzles. Okay, so This thing has still got a bad knock, and from the video, I don't know if you can tell, but I think the knock is in the top end. Now, I don't know for sure. I'm not into these engines that often, or honestly not that knowledgeable about a d6-9u. But I have been talking to a guy that knows a lot about them. And not just this engine, but he knows a lot about diesels in general. So, I have come up with an odd noise. I'm gonna see if I can get it to do it again. Now, right now, it seems to be number 4, but I could be off, it could be somewhere else. Number 4 is the one I think is the problem. That's where we found the bad injector. All the cylinders had loose valves. Now right now I'm on a number 4 exhaust. Exhaust valve is down. And so exhaust valve is about to close. That means the piston is near the top. Intake valve is starting to open. This is where I start hearing this knock. Okay, we hit the bottom of the stroke, or close to it, because this valve's starting to close. The knock stops. Intake valve is closing. That means we're getting ready to do injection or compression stroke. We're coming up. Both valves are completely loose. Compression stroke. You can hear a little bit of a hiss, but now I'm starting to hear that knock again. This is compression stroke. I think we just hit top center. Number 4. Now this is power stroke. Piston's coming down. No knock. I hear nothing. Seems normal. We hit the bottom, compression or power stroke, exhaust valve starting to open. Coming up, number 4's coming up, exhaust stroke. Okay, we're nearing the top. Exhaust valve's closing. There's no knock. Intake starting to open. So our pistons hit the top. Let me verify that. Yeah, we just passed the mark. Our intake's open. Now we hear the knock. Intake valve starting to close. No knock. So we've hit bottom. So this is what I'm looking at, is just this cylinder. I may be wrong, it may be a different cylinder, but from what I'm seeing here, I'm thinking we've got a busted piston skirt, or we've got something letting this piston slap. Now, my question to you is, why would it only do it when it does it mostly when it's on the intake stroke? You don't hear anything when it's coming up. You do hear some when it's coming down on compression at the bottom, but not so much. So I don't know what's going on. I've been on the phone with Jeff. Neither one of us has ever heard an engine knock when you're turning it over. So something catastrophic is going on. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not a hole in the piston, because if it was, we would have enormous amounts of blow-by, and you wouldn't hear the compression wheezing through the rings on the way up. So if it was a hole in the piston or a busted piston, so kind of what we're thinking is maybe between him and me, he's a long ways away. If he was here, he'd probably tell me right off what's going on. But his best guess and mine are lining up. I think we've got a busted piston skirt, and this thing's, and when I first heard this knock, I thought it was piston slap. It sounded like the piston slapping at the top. And Jeff Anderson, in my opinion, is a national treasure. And I've told him that. I've told several people that. Anytime his name comes up, he's a national treasure. He's got knowledge most people won't share, and he'll let you have it for free. Most of the time, I don't know, maybe he should be charging for it, especially me. But I figure through the advertising of my backhoe sticker, we should be good. Anyway, I appreciate Jeff. Jeff's a good dude. Not many around like him. Probably a good thing for that. But he's always got an ear if you got a problem. But that's where we're at. That's kind of what I'm looking at today. This video might not happen this weekend because I'm working on it so late Saturday. Takes me a while to edit. I was hoping to have all this running smooth like a sewing machine. So, what's the opposite of a sewing machine running? This dozer. I don't know. It's not running like a sewing machine, that's for sure. I always thought if I ever got a Caterpillar, my life would be easy because they're the best machines ever made, right? Yeah. Not me. I got the curse, I guess. Anyway. I should have hauled this one to the scrapyard when it was on the trailer. Took my money and went home. But no, honestly, I would like to find the problem. I don't like to just let things be, well, I don't know. It's got a problem. It's got a leak back here too, by the way. It's leaking on my floor. There is a big side cover here that can be removed. I may have to pull the starter, but it's easy to pull. But that gets me access to the rod bearings. Maybe I can reach in there and feel the bottom of the piston. I don't know. That's where I'm at with the d6-9u. Oh, and by the way, one of your commenters said that the serial number was back here. It is. It's 9U 26234, I believe. So if that gives you any idea. Anybody need a dog? Get down. Good grief. Well, it's been nice knowing you, D6. But I'm pretty sure we're going to have to part ways. Pulled the side cover off, and this is number 5 rod. And here is number 4 rod. So at this point, this is the end of my story with this dozer. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I kind of think I'm going to probably put it on auction time and see if somebody wants to buy it for scrap price or whatever. But I don't see the point. I mean, I should probably pull a rod cap and look at it, but there's damn near a 1/4 inch gap in that. It's like the bearing's completely gone. So the rod's probably done, and could a person clean it up and put a rod bearing in it? Maybe, but how long would it last? Not long. Anybody want a dozer? Sell it to you cheap. Alright, so I kind of ended this video after I kind of looked at it in a bad way, I think. I don't know. What should I do with this? Should it go on Purple Wave? Should it go Facebook? I mean, if I do put it on if I do list it somewhere, I will tell people, hey, it's got a bad engine knock. And if they want to see my video on YouTube, I'll show them where it's at. But I ended this video without pulling the rod cap off. My friend Jeff said he'd like to see what the crank looks like. Curiosity's getting the best of me, so not this time, but next time I'm going to pull this cover and we're going to see what the rods look like, actually, how bad they are. So anyway, hang in there, bear with me a minute.